California's water is seen statewide on California Public Television.
California's water is made possible in part by the Association of California Water Agencies, ACWA, 460 local agencies working together to meet California's water needs. Delivering a safe, clean, and reliable water supply every day is their job. Wherever we live, in a city or on a farm, water is one of our most critical resources for our quality of life and the quality of our environment. Water storage, water treatment, water recycling, water conservation, water delivery. ACWA and its members do it for you and for all Californians. Major funding for this series provided by East Bay Municipal Utility District and Sonoma County Water Agency. Funding also provided by Chino Basin Water Conservation District, Eastern Municipal Water District, Irvine Ranch Water District, Metropolitan Water District of Southern California, Turlock Irrigation District, Water Replenishment District of Southern California, and the West Basin Municipal Water District.
Energy. We use a lot of it here in California. And about 20% of all electricity used in California is used to pump, treat, and deliver water. It takes a lot of electricity to get water to us. And that's what this adventure is all about. Water and energy. And some new creative ways water agencies are saving and conserving energy. Okay, our energy-saving water adventure begins. And to start things off, we've come to Sonoma County, and boy, look at this beautiful setting with the trees off in the background, but we're not here to look at trees. We're here to look at this. As far as the eye can see, something very exciting going on over here, and Jim Flessner is with the Sonoma County Water Agency. You're excited about this because it fits in to an overall plan that you all have adopted, and it's all about saving and conserving and producing clean energy.
Yes, our plan is to be carbon-free water by 2015.
Now, what does that mean, carbon-free water by 2015?
It means that we want to have all of our energy be generated from renewable resources, such that we're not burning any fossil fuels in order to get our energy that we need for our facilities.
Okay, now you use a lot of energy, don't you, here in Sonoma County in your water agency? What do you use it for?
The energy is used for the treatment of, here it's used for the treatment of wastewater, but we also use quite a bit of energy in pumping potable water for the Sonoma County area.
I think the figures say that 20% of all the energy consumed in California is consumed either in pumping, treating, or delivering water to customers. So what you've done here, is this the first step, all of these solar panels?
Yes, we started this in 2005, and this facility was completed last year in 2007. And this was done in order to reduce the amount of energy that we need to get from the grid, from PG&E or any of the other suppliers of energy.
All right, now these are just your traditional looking solar panels, but they're not really traditional, are they?
Yes. Unlike most of the solar panel facilities, this one is different in the sense that these panels will track the sun. And by doing this, they're able to produce 25% more energy than if they just laid flat or were angled towards the sun.
So they move with the sun during the day. We can't see that because the sun's moving pretty slowly, but they'll track the sun all day long.
Yes, right now it's morning, and so they're facing east, but they will end up going flat by noon and then facing west at the end of the day.
All right, now how much energy do you figure you're producing here as far as percentages of what you use on a daily basis here at the water agency, here at this wastewater treatment plant?
Well, we've taken the measurements over a year's time, and these panels have produced over 40% of the energy needed to run this wastewater treatment plant.
So 40% of all the energy you expend here at the wastewater treatment plant is produced now by renewable, by free energy coming from the sun.
That's correct.
Are you excited about it? Are you? I mean, is this a big deal?
Yes, it is. It's a very big deal, and it is very exciting because it's new, and we see the effects of it immediately as to our energy bills, of course, being lower, and also just the fact that we're able to be dealing with the new technologies.
Boy, Rick is smiling from ear to ear. He's standing here right in the middle of his product because, Rick, your company, it's called Sun Power.
That's correct.
You install and help get these things out to companies, to places, to agencies like the Sonoma County Water Agency. Mm-hmm. And boy, standing here, it makes an impression, a very strong impression. This is something good that's happening now, isn't it?
You bet. And I think the impression that you're seeing is large-scale solar that's being used for general purposes that are critical to the county and critical to all of our lives, like water pumping, water treatment, supply of water, things like that.
Now, it used to be politically correct. It's always been politically correct to use solar power. But we're now entering a whole new phase, aren't we? This is something, well, we have to do it in some form or another, but it's also a huge way to save and conserve energy. This makes sense now. It's not just a political statement, it's an economic statement.
You're right, and like in the industry, there are first movers or early adopters. Sonoma County Water Agency was one of those. They had a mission. The mission was, of course, to deliver clean, cost-effective water to their customers in an environmental fashion. But they also see the need to save money for their operations. So that they keep their costs down. And solar power is one way they're doing that. And they're leading the effort. And others watch and observe and see how well it works and then adapt a little bit later on. And so we're seeing those later adapters coming into the market right now and just making the whole industry explode.
You can feel the warmth on these things, can't you?
That's right.
Wow.
And it's actually the light from the sun that's at work in making this, what's called the photovoltaic effect, possible. Turning that light into electricity. And that's what these solar cells do.
Well, it's working here in Sonoma County, and it's going to be working all over California before long, helping us deliver water to customers. Treat water, pump water, deliver water more cheaply and more efficiently. It's all about the water. We were getting ready to leave. We were wrapping things up, and I just casually mentioned to Jim, I asked you the question, why is this open space here between these two big solar panel fields? And there's a great environmental answer to that question too.
Yeah, this area in the winter is a wetlands, and it's a environmentally sensitive area. And so before we could do any construction here, we had our environmental group come out here and do the surveying, and they plotted out the areas that they wanted us to make sure that we were very careful with and that we did not destroy.
So you saved this wetlands in here in between these two fields of solar panels. Do birds actually use this?
Yeah, birds use this. There's some nesting that goes on here, and we had to make sure that no nesting was happening during the construction of these panels.
See, I don't think most people would realize that you cared that much. I mean, it's just a small little area here, but it actually makes a difference, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It makes a big difference, and the agency is very proud of the fact that they are that sensitive to these areas.
And as we end our journey here to the Sonoma County Water Agency, Brad, we are leaving here in a very environmentally correct and energy efficient way. We followed you here.
Yes, you did.
In our car. And boy, this little car that you're driving, I've never seen one that's called a plug-in hybrid, plugging into the future today. What are we looking at?
You're looking at Sparky here. This is our first plug-in hybrid. It's a Toyota Prius.
How does this work? Where do you plug it in?
Plug it in right here. This will plug into any standard wall socket. So I can literally go home and plug it into my house and charge the car up. But even better, we plug this into our solar systems at our facilities, and it is literally energized and fueled by the sun. Sun power operates this car.
You're plugging in your car to electricity that is generated
Yeah.
from your solar panels.
Right out there.
And what kind of, how long can it go on a charge?
It's a fully electric vehicle up to 35 miles per hour. So if you're driving around town, which we do a lot, we're not emitting any gas vapors. It's clean. It's a full electric vehicle.
And how many miles per gallon can you get if it gets into the, because it's a hybrid, there's still a combustible engine in there, isn't there?
Would you believe it if I said 100 miles per gallon?
Really?
That's right. So when we're driving around town, we're on the freeway, when you go above 35 miles per hour, you kick into the hybrid part, and it 100 miles per hour. So we rarely have to refuel this vehicle because it uses a lot of electricity from the sun.
And I can convert, I've got a hybrid at home.
Yeah.
I can convert this to a plug-in electric car?
That's right. There are conversion kits available, and they range in price based on the model you have. And in a few years, you're going to see a lot more of these cars coming out of manufacturers of Detroit.
See, this whole discussion that we've had here today, it's so exciting on so many levels because there is so much innovation and creative thinking going on now, isn't there?
Absolutely. Everything from treating water, moving it, to even doing day-to-day business and driving a vehicle. It's the opportunities are amazing.
Wow, this has been very exciting. We came here to do a story just on solar, but we ended up finding out about your wetlands, which is a great idea that you've done. Your vehicle, which you plug in and recharge from energy produced by your solar panels. It just keeps getting better. Who knows what's going to be going on 5 or 10 years from now, but your goal is to be
carbon-free water by 2015.
And at the rate you're going,
we're almost there.
Okay, we have left Northern California. We are now in Southern California in San Bernardino County near Chino. We are at the Inland Empire Utilities Agency. We're looking at recycled water over here, Rich. Rich, you and I are old friends. We've known each other a number of years. This adventure is called Energy and Water, a Powerful Connection. We just saw the solar panels they're using up in Sonoma County. Let's start this adventure off. These are your administration buildings right here for your utilities agency. I was here a couple of years ago when you dedicated these buildings, and you got a big award on these buildings.
Yes, we did. We were really pleased. Governor Schwarzenegger and the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency both gave us awards for the energy and water efficiency here at our office complex.
Now, what do you mean water efficiency?
Well, all the stormwater on site is captured and put back in the underground, so we conserve all of that. We have very water efficient plumbing fixtures, conserving water, and including using recycled water both outdoors in all of the landscape and indoors. The toilets, for example, are on recycled water.
So this is an energy efficient building, your administration buildings. You are saving energy in just the light fixtures, the way the solar panel works on the roof. All of this, isn't this a LEEDs building?
Yes, it's a LEED Platinum building, the top of the line. In fact, on the West Coast in 2003, when we dedicated the building, you were here, it was the top ranked energy efficient building on the West Coast.
And let's take one more look over here, because this takes added meaning now when you realize that this is all recycled water here. And this is just the beginning of, what did you say, a 21-acre park down here?
That's correct. Right behind the office complex is a native educational park with endangered species, birds, wildlife, and it's all restoring old dairy land into a native park.
With recycled water.
Absolutely.
Well, you're doing a great job down here, but as good as all of this is, you know this is not why we're here. We're here for a very interesting trip. It's just it's less than a quarter of a mile away, isn't it?
That's correct.
Right here on the facilities here, we're going to see a connection between energy and water that I guarantee you've never seen before. And I'm not sure that I'm dressed. Should I be wearing boots for this, or can we just walk over there in regular shoes?
We'll walk over there in regular shoes and it'll be all right.
I hope so. We're heading over there right now. Okay, now it gets interesting, and boy, we're coming right to the heart of the matter right here. And before we start talking about energy and water, let's set the stage for where Chino is, because Chino is cow country, isn't it, Rich?
Yes, it is. It's one of the largest concentration of dairy cows in the United States.
Wait a minute, repeat that because it's worth repeating.
Yes, the Chino Valley, where all these dairy cows are, is the largest concentration of dairy cows in the United States.
Even though a lot of these dairy farms are moving into the San Joaquin Valley and other places around California and throughout the West, Chino is still cow country.
That's correct. It still has the largest concentration of dairy cows. Probably 150,000 cows still reside in this area.
And it also has the largest concentration of cow, what do you say, residue?
We'll just call it what it is. It's manure, yeah.
Cow manure. And we're standing in front of a tanker truck loaded with cow manure. And this is where it gets real interesting. Let's leave the outside, go inside, and boy, there's a smell in there. You breathe through your mouth, don't you?
That's right.
Although you're probably used to it by now.
That's right. It's our bread and butter here.
So it smells good to you.
Yeah.
Let's go inside. All right, now this is exciting. He's taken off the end of the. What's happening over here, Manuel? You're the operations manager here.
Well, he's hooking up so we can offload the manure, about 3,500 gallons, into our receiving tanks.
All right, so this is raw manure,
yes,
right
sir.
off the farm.
Right off the dairy farm.
And he hooks it up to this big, he's opened up the valve. Look at this, here he goes. Open it up. There it goes. Oh boy, you can look at the pipe move. Now this manure is going, what's happening to it next?
The first process is going to go through our screening process, so we're going to try and get some of the rocks and some of the grit out. Then it's going to go into our underground receiving tanks. And from there we add water so we can pump it a little bit easier.
So you're kind of mixing it and adding water to it down in these tanks?
Just a little bit, just so we can get it through our pumps, because it comes in kind of thick.
Can we look at one of these? You really
Yes.
can't look down there, can you?
It's not hard, not easy to see, but you can.
Yeah, well, what are you going to see? Just a lot of cow manure, right?
That's it.
There's not a lot to see here. It's the concept more than anything else, isn't it?
That's right. It's a treatment plant that's taking cow manure and creating two products, organic fertilizer and renewable energy.
Wow. So it goes into these big holding tanks, and then what happens to it?
Well, the bacteria breaks down the manure into methane gas, which is just like natural gas, and we use that to generate electricity, and then we squeeze and process the soil manure into a fertilizer product, and then we process that and make that into an organic fertilizer product.
But what about the gas? That's what's running your electric, how does that work?
Well, what it does is we capture the gas, pump it into storage tanks, and then pipe it to our internal combustion engines to make electricity.
Wow, so is this really is, it's technical, but it's not highly technical, is it?
Not highly. It can be at times with the biological process or some of the equipment, but generally speaking, it's a great concept and easy to understand once you kind of get a look at it at first.
Was there a little trial and error here in the early days?
Definitely.
Rich, what about the trial and error in the early days?
Well, we started this in 2002, and we've learned from experience what's the best way to kind of optimize the production of gas and have the right environment for the bacteria to break down the organic material and produce as much gas as possible, which we can convert into electricity.
Because for years you've had cow manure, and for years you've had electrical needs, but somehow or another the two hadn't been put together.
That's right, and when electricity is really inexpensive, it probably didn't make sense to do this. But in this day and age, and you think about all of the air pollution reduction benefits, the water pollution benefits, and the renewable energy, this project has a lot of win-win, a lot of benefits to not only the community, but statewide in producing renewable energy.
Now this is interesting. After all we've seen and all we've talked about, there's another look of the manure right there.
That's correct. This is the finished product, a organic fertilizer product that will be bagged and used in gardens, schools, and golf courses throughout Southern California.
So after it's made the gas, had all the gas extracted, it comes back into a truck as dried organic manure fertilizer and goes out all over Southern California.
Absolutely. It's really a high quality product, and if you've grown your roses or a vegetable garden, this is a perfect soil amendment for your garden.
Now we're outside, the fresh air is blowing, and Rich, now it's time for us to talk about these huge, big, well, these are gas tanks, aren't they?
That's right. Well, we would call it an anaerobic digester, but it's basically without air, the bacteria break down the organic manure into methane gas and reduce the solids, and that's how it works. And then we take the gas off the top of the tank to the top, pipe it into a filtering system, clean the gas to get the impurities out of it, and then we compress the gas, get it to a high pressure, and pipe it to our engines back near the office building so we generate electricity.
And what are you doing with this electricity, and how much electricity are you making from cow manure?
We're generating about 3 megawatts of electricity from the biogas here from the cow manure.
Now how does that translate into something we'd understand?
Well, 3 megawatts would serve about 20,000 homes.
Well, that's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, it's a significant amount of energy, and it's really represents a real both clean environment product because it's reducing pollution and generating renewable energy at the same time.
When you say reducing pollution, in the past, all these dairy farmers around here would have this manure just loaded up and shipped out somewhere and dumped, right?
That's right, and it would sit out in their corral for quite a while, and so that would cause, emissions into the air, and it obviously creates a water pollution problem too.
Wow, so you're helping with the whole environment too.
That's exactly right. That's our goal, is to have both an environmental solution that also produces renewable energy cost effectively.
Now, has this been going on, this has been going on in Europe for a long time, hasn't it?
It is. These tanks it's a German engineered design, but in Denmark and France and Sweden, many parts of Europe, capturing, because of high densities of population, they've always had a need to make sure that manure and municipal wastewater biosolids are reused and you generate renewable energy.
Now, you use these 3 megawatts to what? Run your wastewater treatment plant?
Yes, we use that instead of buying off of the grid and buying electricity. We self-generate.
Your electric bill is lower because you're producing your own electricity.
Yeah, we save in excess of $2.5 million a year in our electric bill by generating our own electricity here.
And you do it with solar and cow manure.
That's correct.
Wow. Had you ever heard of any of this before you came to work over here?
It's amazing. No, I haven't.
Do most people who live out in the surrounding areas, do they quite understand what all this is about?
We're getting it out there. They're starting to learn more about it. So
yeah, well, it makes sense, doesn't it?
It really does. When you look at it, recycling and reusing organic waste products like cow manure, food waste, and converting that into an organic fertilizer product, and obviously generating renewable energy, is one that, given the price of oil today, is something that its time has come.
Well, I'm always amazed at what we come up with next. Solar, of course, is now very well accepted and used in, all over the place. We saw that up in Sonoma County. What they're doing with their solar is quite amazing. You've got solar, and I don't want to call it cow manure. It's what's the dressed up name for it?
We call this our Cow Power Project.
The Cow Power Project, and the energy is called
biogas.
Biogas.
That's right.
And all of this together is making a difference here in California as far as energy consumption and its connection with the pumping of all of this water that we need is concerned.
Absolutely. You know, almost 20% of all the electrical use in California is related to pumping and treating water. And so everything we can do to be more water conserving, reusing and recycling water, and clearly developing renewable energy here, like at a wastewater treatment plant where we're treating all of that water, is all goes to the bottom line, and everybody in California benefits by doing that.
It's all good. Congratulations, fellas.
Thank you.
This episode, this adventure has been called Energy and Water, a Powerful Connection. And there it is right over there. From a distance, they look like just two big old tanks. But they're not just two big old tanks, they're two big old tanks full of cow manure, making gas that's being turned into electricity that's helping reduce the water bill for this water agency here in San Bernardino County. It's all part of the water story, of California's water. It's all about the water and the gas, the cow gas.